5 things we need to change. Here's the first one. It's called speech. What is speech? That which is being stated with a primary focus on the message. So it's what we are saying and being careful about what we're saying. That's not easy, is it? It means I need to be careful about what I say to anyone, because I may hurt somebody with what I say. In fact, words hurt deeper than anything else I know. As a young person, I need to set an example in what I say. Oh, that's hard. Okay, so I'm going to help you remember this. Would you stand for a moment with me? Would you stand for a moment with me? Now, you can put your paper on the side for a moment, and I want you to remember speech. So you put your one foot behind, back like this, and then you hold your hands like that, and then you say speech. Go like this, speech. Now, some of you are going like this. Now, I really want you to realize speech, is because you're going to hurt people by what you say. Speech. Okay. So one day when you're walking with your friend and they say something you don't like, you just go. Okay. Do it to the person next to you. Let's see how they will respond. Yeah, okay. Okay. Now, that means wherever we are, we have to mind our language. Mind our language. Before you speak, give yourself a few moments to think. Okay, you can take your seats. You can take your seats. So, look at what John Blanchard says. He says, actions don't always speak louder than words. Why? Your tongue can undo everything you do. I had a married lady, who came into my office to speak to me. And so she sat in the chair opposite where I was, behind my desk, and I asked her, how can I help you? And then she just said, I wish. And she couldn't carry on. For 43 minutes, she cried and cried and cried and cried. I keep a box of Kleenex on my desk, and I was just passing Kleenex. She was crying. She would start to speak, and I'm sorry, and she would start crying again and again. And I realized she was hurting deeply. When she finally gathered herself, and I asked, what is it? She says, I wish he would not say the things he says to me. I would rather he beats me up than say the things he said to me. I mean, both statements were shocking. That a woman would prefer her husband to beat her up than to say the stuff he was saying to her. And I had to imagine, what kind of stuff must he have been saying to her to wish for that? Because I don't know if you've ever received a hiding lately. They call it a hiding for a reason. You see, even if you get a hiding, they probably call it a hiding because it goes away. Just remember that. But words don't. They stay. You even remember things that happened to you while you were in primary school. What that little boy who was known to be mean and surly said to you. And sometimes you'll even meet him years later and you will remember. That's that boy. Not easy, eh? So you need to mind your language. You're going to hurt people by what you say. That's why it's the first thing in which we need to set an example. Oh, because we as young people, we like to talk, don't we? When you see a circle of young people, and I watched some of you before this program, you were sitting there or standing there in the foyer and talking, you just wondered who is listening, because everyone was talking. I'm like, wow, what's... It means that you probably don't have time to think about what you're saying, you're just saying stuff. And I saw two guys looking at a girl, and I wondered, okay, what am I? All right, let's not go there. So what we are saying is just as important as how we say it. Now, when I left to come here, I left my home, to come here and be with you. I had to say goodbye to my wife, and I says, I don't know what time I'll see you. Now, there was a way in which I had to say it. Now, I needed to leave because I had to be here. I said, bye, see you, I'm going now. Which was true, because that's what I was doing. I had to leave, right? I says, honey, I'm going. I'm not sure what time I'll come back. I'll miss you. I'm going to go hang out with other people, but I'll miss you. And she looked at me with a big smile. I said, I'll miss you too. You know what? It was the same thing as saying, bye, I'm leaving now. It was, effectively. I had to leave. But it's how I said it. Roll back a few years. When I met her and I'm falling in love with her and we realized we had to be married, I didn't go to her and say, hey, will you marry me? Or else. No. I had to find a special place, a time, plan it, see if it would work, think about it, and say, maybe not. Then I bought a ring, and I had it for a couple of weeks. I'd look at it. Is it good enough? It took a while. Why? I had to say something important, and it had to be said right. You know what? At the right moment, I looked at her, eyeball to eyeball. I have something to ask you. And she says, what? It's important to me. She says, ask me. I pulled out a ring and I gave it to her in the box. She opened it. And she says, you're not serious. I says, you're right, I'm Sam. I don't know who serious is. She took that ring and she put it on her finger. She said, yes. But she took it off and gave it. No, you put it on. And I put it on. And she looks at it and then she stormed out. I don't know where she went. Exciting. Now imagine if I'd gone to her and says, you will marry me. Effectively, that's what I was saying. I was saying to you, you will marry me. Well, I even bought a ring for that. You will. Right? Effectively, I was saying that. But no, I had to say it in a way that would help my intentions. But these days I tell her that, now you marry me, so you stay with me. You know what I told my wife the other day? If you ever think of leaving me, I'll go with you. So here's a principle. Good communication demands sensitivity to the listener. There are things you cannot say to someone why it will damage them. So before you say certain things, think about it. Think about it. They have a proverb in Nigerian culture. They say it's sensitive to mention dry bones when there are old people around. It's too personal. Too close to the bone. Sorry, excuse the pun. So you have to be sensitive who is there. Some of you are having a good time. You need to be careful what you say and whom to say it. One day I was speaking in church, and I was just reflecting a story that my pastor had told me. He says he went to his high school reunion, which is after 40 years. I mean, what do you do going to a high school reunion after 40 years? Can you even see the people? And remember who they are? And he says he went to that, and he says, well, I was surprised at how many people had lost their hair, mostly the women. I'm like, ooh. As I told the story, a lady got up and stormed out of church. And I wondered what was wrong with her. After the service, I got a phone call, and I says, never say that again. I'm like, oh my goodness. Because she was having a real life experience where she was experiencing hair loss. Now, you have to be sensitive to that. It may have been fun, but it wasn't fun for somebody else. Be careful what you say. Know who is there. Select your words carefully. Speech. You're going to hurt a lot of people by what you say. Mind your language. So, most of you will say, I'm not arguing. Why would you say that? I'm just explaining why I'm right. Yeah. Because you never think you're wrong. Have you noticed when couples fight, the number one reason why marriages break down is because of communication. I don't know if you know what happens. In the first year, the husband speaks and the wife listens. In the second year, the wife speaks and the husband listens. In the third year, they both speak and the neighbors listen. By that stage, it's too late. When you bring people into a counseling room where they've had a conflict, what's amazing to me is you ask the woman to speak and she speaks first, and women know, oh my goodness, they remember, they're sharp. They'll tell you, on that day, you had your striped shirt and your blue shoes, and this is what you said, and then on the other day, she'll tell you. The guy sits there going like this. When she finally finishes after 2.5 hours, then you say to him, what do you have to say? And then he says, why didn't you tell me all this before? And they start fighting again. Be careful. Okay, so we all stumble, according to James chapter 3, verse 2, in many ways. If anyone is never at fault in what he says, he is a perfect man. Wow, did you hear that? If you know how to use your mouth, that's an indication that you've arrived. I want to meet that person who is never at fault at what he or she says. In fact, if you find them, marry them. Get a ring and say, you will marry me. Why? You'll have no problems from them, except you will give them problems. So, if you're a perfect man, you are able to keep, notice, your whole body under check by just learning how to speak. So, if I want to know how mature you are, I just listen at how you speak. I wish I knew that a few years ago. I don't want to tell this to my wife because I don't know if she will have chosen me. And you can see I can do damage with my tongue, right? So what's the principle? A considerate speaker is a complete person whose mouth represents his or her integrity. The integrity of your heart is reflected by how you speak, how you use your words. Oh, what an amazing thing to know. So most of you, when you fall in love, when you're looking at a person, you look at all the other things. Oh, here's what you could look at. It would shortcut your process. Just watch how they speak. Why? It will tell you exactly where they are. This is helpful, isn't it? Okay, so not just watch what people say, watch what you say. What you say. So, during the Second World War, we were accustomed to seeing posters that read, "Loose lips sink ships." But loose lips also wreck lives. A person who is unguarded statement and suddenly finds himself involved in a fight, his tongue has forced the rest of us to defend itself. Whew. Yeah. Now, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you had a fight with someone? If you can remember it, that's already an indication of how immature you are. You should get to a point where I ask you this question, when was the last time you had a fight and you're like, I can't remember. That tells me your body, your life is getting under check. Now, most of you fight every day. Every day. You fight. Good morning. Already. Just a greeting makes you want to fight. How are you feeling? Oh, what is that to you? Oh, you need help. You need help. You know, one of my friends got married to a lady who had won the beauty pageant of that country. So, like you have a Miss South Africa here, he got married to a Miss that country. My goodness. I thought, what a lucky guy. Huh? And then 2 years after that, they got divorced. I'm thinking, my goodness, what was missing in that lady? She was voted the most beautiful woman in the land. You know what? You can even get one like that. What will break that relationship? And that's exactly what happened. He spoke his way into a divorce with the most beautiful woman. He damaged her so badly that the time I met her and saw her and asked, how is it going? She just went like this. So I don't know where I got that monster from. He had damaged her in 2 years. She didn't even look any good. Because there was nothing to really look forward to in life. Terribly damaged. Barnhouse says, it is said when tongues of professing Christians are the devil's workshop. Ooh, whoa. That's strong. I didn't say it. He did. But it's true. But it's true. So we need to process this very much. So here's what I need to ask you. What needs to change about the way you speak to your friends? Oh, some of you, you dismiss your friends. Quickly. You have a disagreement or a misunderstanding, you call them names and you dismiss them. Some of your siblings, we thought you come out of the same father and mother, so these are the closest people to you. Oh, man, no. You fight with your siblings. Do you know, I know some people, years after their sibling rivalry, from when they were kids, they're not even on speaking terms. I've done weddings where you see the bride walking down the aisle, and people see her crying and they think, she's emotional. No, she's broken. Completely broken by what her own family have said to her. So now when I do weddings and I see a bride crying, no, it's not emotional. I know she's hurting, for real. I did a wedding once where I saw the bride now standing on the other end of the aisle and the groom on the other, standing next to the groom, and you could see the happiest moment of his life is about to happen. And then she got pulled back. I'm like, huh? Family issue. By the time she finally walked, she could barely walk. And I'm thinking, how do we start a marriage like that? How do we start like that? That's why I married the woman I got married to. When she walked in, she had both parents, one on either side, a big, broad smile, and she was looking at me and coming by herself, and I thought, yay. You know what? She never went to any other loser. She came to me. Beautiful day. So, what about your parents? Some of you have issues with your parents. They talk to you, you talk back. When you talk back, you're not saying nice things to them. You know how you horrible stuff cannot be repeated. What you say to your own parents. Jane, can you come here? And you go saying stuff as you're going. If it were possible to play back the things you've said to your own parents, could we do that? What about your teachers at school? I used to be a teacher myself. I probably quit because I don't know how many names they had for me by that time. I don't know what they called me. Mean, surly. I don't know. One of my students told me, you were strict with your marking. I says, well, look at where you are now. You are a great student. Why? Because I helped you. I don't know what names they had for me back then. Well, what names do you have for your teachers? What do you call them? What comes to your mind when you think about them? There's a space there in your notes to reflect. I want you to complete that. So take 5 minutes to really write down a few things. Reflect on this. Let's do that.